Hello everyone, here's Paul from rmpforex.com and welcome to the weekly review of 5 major forex pairs based on Masterforex-V Technical analysis. Today I will take a look at EURUSD, British Pound, Australian Dollar, Canadian Dollar and Japanese Yen against US Dollar. Also, because it works very well with my cryptocurrency reviews on Wednesdays, I decided to introduce that to my Forex reviews as well. So if you would like me to review the currency pair that you like in my next review, leave your vote in the comment section below. Let's say if you want to vote for New Zealand dollar, so just write down your pair in the comment section below, and the currency pair that will collect the most votes, I will take a look as the 6th pair in my next review. So any currency that you like, it could be an exotic currency, it could be a Danish krone against EURUSD. Any currency that you like or you would be interested in, just post it in the comment section below, and if it will collect the most votes, I will review it next time. For those of you who's watching that kind of review for the first time, I'll explain you very quickly. Each weekend I choose my strategic direction based on Masterforex-V for each of those currency, and my strategic direction is based on H4 and D1 timeframes. So for that strategic direction, I also share with you my reference points. If one of those reference points is broken, it means the strategic direction that I've chosen in this video is cancelled. So once I have the strategic direction, I go to a tactical plan. I trade intraday, and each morning, based on that strategic direction, I create a tactical plan for each of those pairs. And once I have the tactical plan and an entry zone, I use my trend following trading system to try and catch that trend. So with you, I'm sharing about 30% of my trading plan for the upcoming week for each of those currency pairs. Before we proceed, make sure you read through the risk disclaimer. It is very important, and let's get straight into the charts. EURUSD. If you will remember my last review, I mentioned this reference point, and I said that as long as this reference point is not broken, the trend phase will proceed. Also, you will remember that I was mentioning about this reference point here. I'll just go to a smaller time frame. And I said that once we'll break through this reference point, I will stop looking for my buy positions until this C wave will stop. And as you can see here, a pivot point was created and it was broken. So once we broke through it and created a new FZR up, I continued with my trend phase up and looking for some new buy positions. At the moment, we have an FZR like this one up, and the pivot point that was protecting this trend or this wave is now finished, and Euro is now back to H1 flat. So at the moment, for me, it is very important to come back with my trend following trading system to break through this reference point here. So once we will break through it, then I can come back and to use my trend following trading system and try and attack this trend up. On the other side, this reference point here for me is also important. I'll just draw it from here so you could see it better. This reference point here, because if we will go and break through this reference point, we will have an FZR of H1 down, and then the H4 trend up will be stopped with this FZR of H1 down. I'll just go back to H4. Here you can see that's the reference point that is protecting the trend up, but for me, this place here, if broken, will mean a H1 FZR. So for me, it will mean that I'll have to wait that this C wave down will stop or be finished, the pivot point belonging to that C wave will have to be broken first, so I could come back with my trend following trading system up. But as you can see at the moment, this reference point is not broken, so everywhere here I will be using my trend following trading system, but will be just a little bit more conservative in finding some new buy positions. So that's the idea for EURUSD. Let's go next to British Pound against US dollar. And again, if you'll remember my last review, I mentioned this reference point, and I said that once we'll break through it, we will have a H1 FZR down, and that I will be waiting for some pivot points in that C wave down. And as you can see, the pivot point that was protecting this wave was here, and once it's broken, I immediately started to use my trend following trading system. And after this M30 FZR, I was already trying to find some new buy positions intraday. As I said before, I'm trading intraday. At the moment, this pivot point here is broken, so that whole wave up is finished as well, and we have now two waves, which is A wave and B wave. And if we will go through and break through this reference point, it will mean we will have a H4 FZR down, and then I can start use my trend following trading system after that reference point. On the other hand, if we will break through this reference point, we will have then B will become A, we will have B here, and that will become C wave. So we'll have an FZR of H4 up, and also D1 trend will proceed, and that pivot point that was protecting D1 trend will move into this place, and we'll start protecting this D1 trend up. As long as we're between those two reference points, I will be staying away from British pound, and once we'll break through any of those throughout the week, then I'll come back and start using my trend following trading system. So that's the idea for British pound. Let's go next to Australian dollar against US dollar. Guys, I would like to remind you how important it is to understand yourself in real time, those reference points. And as you can see, once we broke through this reference point, I immediately understood that I should stop using my trend following trading system and look for some new buy positions. And for you who's watching those reviews, there is a danger if you're following those videos to find some signals. It is very dangerous and very risky for you to use my reviews just as signals. So if you would like to learn those reference points, and if you'd like to know how to find those reference points in the real time, here is the link for you. I invite you to join the RMP Forex training program. I will personally bring you through all those reference points and through all those and through the whole Masterforex-V technical analysis. It's a 3 to 4 months training, and you will definitely learn, and you will see how those reference points work and how Masterforex-V regularities can be applied and used in the day-by-day trading. So that's the idea for British pound. Let's go next to Australian dollar against US dollar. If you will remember my last review, I mentioned a very interesting moment, this FZR here. And I said that we broke through that FZR, and we have now FZR, and we have now a trend phase of weekly time frame up, with a condition that this pivot point here you can see is not broken. So as long as this pivot point is not broken, I was using my trend following trading system and looking for some new buy positions. But I'll just go to a smaller time frame. You can see here that pivot point was broken, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, and once we broke through it, I stopped immediately looking for some new buy positions. And again, that's another reminder for you. If you're watching these videos and trying to find some signals for your trading, it is very dangerous for you. You need to understand in real time how to apply those reference points and how to go with the markets step by step. So let's get even into a smaller time frame. Here you can see that's the pivot that was protecting the whole impulse up. And now this pivot point is now broken, and this pair is back to a D1 flat phase. This impulse down is not finished yet. The pivot point that is protecting this impulse down is here, and as long as this pivot point is not broken, impulse down will proceed. But once that pivot point will be broken, or a new pivot point will be created and then broken, then we will have a new borders of the new H4 flat. But at the moment, this is the moment where I cannot even use my trading system that is created for trading inside the flats. So that's the kind of moment where you are between heaven and earth, where you cannot use anything. You just have to wait until market will show you some new reference points, and then you can go and apply them in your real trading. So that's the idea for Australian dollar. I am leaving alone that pair for time being. We'll see what will happen in upcoming week. Next pair is Canadian dollar against US dollar. If you'll remember my last review, I mentioned this FZR down, and the review was written here, and I also mentioned that I'm looking at this reference point. But then also, once we created new lows, this pivot point was created, and now as you can see, that pivot point is broken. So that whole wave now has stopped. I'll just go to a bigger time frame, and now here you can see that's the same pivot, and now I have these kind of borders for the new flat phase of H4. So if we will go and break through this reference point now, we will have an FZR of higher time frame down, and then I can start use my trend following trading system here. But if we will go and break through this reference point, we will have a weekly FZR up, and then this pair will move into a trend phase up. Also, before we go to this reference point, we probably will create an FZR of H4, and I can start and use my trend following trading system a little bit earlier. But for now, again, this impulse up here is not finished yet, so I don't, that's the same situation as with Australian dollar. I cannot even use my trading system that is created for flat phases, so this is kind of a situation where I have to wait until this impulse will be finished. And again, that's another reminder for you. I know that this reference point at the moment is protecting this impulse up, but another reference point could be created, and throughout the week I will know what to do, and I will know in the real time what is happening. But if you want to learn those reference points, come over to and join the RMP Forex training, and I will teach you how to use them in your day-by-day trading. So that's the idea for Canadian dollar. Let's go next to Japanese yen against US dollar. Japanese yen. If you'll remember my last review, I mentioned this reference point, and I said that as long as this pivot point is not broken, I'll be using my trend following trading system. But obviously, as you can see, this pivot point is broken. And also, for those who know how to use Masterforex-V Technical analysis, this FZR here showed me earlier that I should stop using my trend following trading system. But anyways, this pivot point is now broken. So this trend down has now stopped, and we have now a new border for the flat phase, and once this impulse up will be finished, we will have another border for the future flat phase of H4. We'll see how it will go, we'll see where that impulse up will stop, but at the moment I'm canceling my strategic direction for down. At the moment this pair is back to a flat phase. I just need to wait until market will show me the new reference points, and once I have them, then definitely I will let you know, and I'll share with you about those reference points. For those who's looking for the long-term trading, the daily flat phase, or rather weekly here, flat phase is still intact, and if we'll break through this reference point, we'll have an FZR of weekly time frame. But on the other side, if we'll break through this reference point, we'll have even a monthly FZR down, and yen will move into a long time trend down. As long as we're between those two reference points, the yen is in a flat phase long term. So that's the idea for Japanese yen against US dollar. Let's go next to New Zealand dollar against US dollar. I remind you guys, this one is that I'm choosing myself for this time, but for the next time, that's the 6th pair, and for the next time you can choose your own 6th pair and leave your vote in the comment section below, and the pair that will collect the most votes, I'll review that pair as a pick of the week for the next review the next Sunday. So today, New Zealand dollar against US dollar, starting out with weekly time frame. These are the two reference points. If we will break through this reference point, we will have an FZR of a weekly time frame, and then after that reference point I can start use my trend following trading system. On the other hand, if we will break through this reference point, we will have also an FZR of a weekly time frame, and then I can start use my trend following trading system here. As long as we're between those two reference points, we have a weekly flat phase. And for those who is trading long term, my opinion, that's the most risky moment to choose what way to go. If you choose to buy, you have 50% chance. If you choose to sell, you have also 50% chance. So as you can see, it's the riskiest moment where you can open a position. Once we will break through any of those reference points, I will definitely have enough time to jump into that trend and follow that trend, no matter what direction that trend will go. So let's go to a smaller time frame. Here you can see these are two reference points, and that impulse here up has a reference point here. I'll go to even smaller time frame to show that to you. That's the reference point, and that means for me, for intraday trader, once we'll break through this reference point, we will have a H4 FZR down, and then after that reference point, I can start using my trend following trading system down, trading this trend down, because I am working intraday. I open my trades in the morning, close my trades in the evening. So that's the idea for New Zealand dollar. Again, guys, I remind you, if you would like your pair to be reviewed next time, leave your vote in the comment section below. This is it for today. If you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas, use the comment section below as well. I will be more than glad to have a chat with you. And for those who are still not subscribed, here is the button for you. I invite you to subscribe, and I will talk to you the next weekend.